A month ago was D-Day. I found out my fiance, 28, was sleeping with a guy from her gym. I caught her lies, which led me to finding the affair. I pushed, she trickle-truthed, then finally admitted there'd been a connection that only crossed the line once. That turned into twice. Then, I didn't know I was supposed to keep count. No, what you were supposed to do was keep your legs fucking closed. I ended the engagement soon after. I had loved her. I honestly believed we were special. I had that every day, I get to be this person feeling. Our communication was good. We handled conflict well. We were planning a wedding. I never saw the betrayal coming, and I couldn't live with it. The past month has been a slow bleed. Her reaction flipped between sobbing, apologizing, denying, and then rage when I stayed calm. She'd do a grand gesture, then disappear emotionally for days. Start therapy, miss therapy, offer full transparency, then keep smiling at the phone. I'm currently in the process of canceling everything wedding related and obtaining the deposits back, which she sees as me declaring war against her. I could care less about her feelings at this point. I'd move out tomorrow if I could, but we're on a lease until January, and after the financial hit I took because some deposits are non-refundable, I'm certainly not taking any more hit. She won't move out either because she's still clinging to the hope that we will still work out, so we're coexisting. Separate rooms, zero intimacy, bare minimum conversation, just until the lease ends. I've never felt this emotionally disoriented in my life. She used to be the one person I could count on to have my back. Now she's a stranger sitting on my couch like nothing happened. What's changed most is inside me. I used to feel safe around her. Now it's like I woke up in an uncanny other world. Everything looks familiar. Our apartment, our routines, her voice, but it's all wrong. Off, uncanny. There's an other version of my life that mimics the old one, but the warmth is gone. We get along most days. I can even enjoy talking with her, but not like before. There's no magic anymore. She's just some girl, some random. People post about rebuilding stronger. I don't knock it. I'm glad it happens for some, but things were already good with us. How is this supposed to be an improvement? How does something so despicable make anything better? For context on the affair partner, he had a girlfriend, and from what I heard after D-Day, he was also seeing other women. If you asked me to design a guy who didn't respect women or relationships, he'd look like that. And she threw our 5-year relationship at him like a coupon. This next part's messing with my head. In the last few weeks, when I've had trauma responses, crying, getting angry, she's called me abusive. 2 examples. I threw her phone across the room once while she snickered at me. I also said, "I hate you" several times. Those 2 events are now her entire case that I'm an abuser. Meanwhile, she's the one who lied for months and slept with someone else. I've been clear, I'm not justifying losing my temper. I own it, but I won't accept the label she's trying to pin on me to survive her shame. When I said that out loud, this feels like blame switching. She went quiet, then she said, "See how it looks?" And then, nothing. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Maybe just reality checks? Is it normal to feel like everything's an uncanny copy? Is it normal to miss someone who never existed? Is it normal to look at the person you were going to marry and feel nothing good? Update. I told her I'm moving out last night. She started crying immediately. Said she loves me, that she was finally ready to do everything right, that she'd hand me the accounts, that she'd switch to weekly therapy, whatever I wanted. I've heard versions of all that for 2 months, and I can't live with them anymore. Then came the pivot I knew was coming. But the way you talk sometimes is abusive. I don't know if I can ever feel safe. I said, "You're allowed to have feelings about my reactions. I'm not proud of everything I've said or done, but I won't accept being labeled an abuser because I expressed trauma after you betrayed me." I reminded her of the specifics and how isolated they were and how I owned them. I also said that calling me abusive right as I was setting a boundary felt like a manipulative survival tactic. She didn't argue. She just cried harder. I'm taking the next 2 weeks at a friend's place. Then she will do the same. We'll rotate the apartment until the lease ends in January. She agreed. I took the ring back. It hurt more than I expected and less than I feared. So all in all, it wasn't bad. After I packed a bag, she said, "I really thought we were special." I said, "We were, until you chose not to be." All I understand now is there doesn't need to be a big why that makes this palatable. Sometimes the why is they chose to betray. That's it. Final update. 2 weeks into no contact, besides the shared email for lease stuff, and the silence is weirdly loud. I miss the idea of her more than the person she actually was to me this last month. The abuser narrative died on contact with distance. Outside the fog, it's obvious what happened. I had trauma outbursts, owned them, worked on them. She tried to reframe my pain as the problem so she could live with what she did. I'm not minimizing that I threw a phone and said words I regret. I'm saying context matters. Repair matters. Proportion matters. I keep thinking about those rebuilding stronger posts. I get why they exist. People want hope. I wanted hope. But stronger than what? Stronger than the story I told myself while she was DMing a guy who was also sleeping with other women? Stronger than the peace I felt when I didn't know I was being lied to? I don't think you improve a house by pretending the cracks are crown molding. What's normal so far? Random waves of sadness that feel like homesickness, moments of clarity where I see how small I made myself to keep the wedding dream alive, flashes of anger about the downgrade she chose, some guy who didn't respect his own relationship, let alone mine. We signed the lease surrender this week. January 31st is the end date. I'll be in my sublet by then. She said she's staying with her sister. The vendors are canceled. Deposits are mostly returned, but some are non-refundable. Oddly, I'm okay with that. Money's replaceable. Years are not. I've come to accept that it's normal to feel empty instead of angry. It's normal to look at the person you promised everything to and see a stranger. It's normal to decide that hollow but together is worse than sad but honest. And it's normal to break up with someone you still love because the version of them you loved can't exist with the version of them who lied. I used to say I didn't want to become the guy who could never trust again. I still don't, but I am becoming the guy who trusts himself, who believes what people show him the first time, who knows that love is a choice, and that betrayal is a choice too, and that no amount of poetry can turn one into the other. Comments. I hear how much this hurt and why you ended it. Just a thought from the other side of the table. Early post-disclosure is a pressure cooker for both people. Betrayal is awful, yes. And so is realizing you destroyed something you valued and facing someone's pain every day in the same apartment. Sometimes what looks like dragging feet is someone drowning in shame and not knowing how to repair correctly. The abuse wording may be clumsy, but if there were moments that felt scary or contemptuous to her, throwing objects, saying, I hate you, she might be naming that to protect herself. Doesn't still make your breakup wrong. It might just mean two people in shock, reacting badly, and now trying to survive the lease. If she truly wants to make amends, let her take the initiative and make plans. But I'd also consider that remorse can look messy. Freeze, avoidance, even defensiveness, especially when the other person's openly grieving in the same place. None of that obligates you to reconcile, and you don't owe her comfort. Just, it's possible she wasn't minimizing so much as overwhelmed and afraid of doing it wrong. Ending the engagement quickly was a clean, respectful choice. Now, keeping communication civil and not relitigating each other's worst moments will let you both get out without adding more wounds.